Another film review, y'all. This time I'm going to start with the film Anora. Anora won the Best Picture. So I knew nothing about this film going in, which is great because you get the full experience, obviously. Anora is a very unique and fresh film, and I'm really surprised it won Best Picture, and I'm glad it did. It's the type of film that really makes me empathize and humanize people who, when I was younger, would be very judgmental towards. Because the film does a good job of exposing the motivations and intentions of these characters, like demographics of society that I'm not really familiar with, even though I might have some like slim association with. And the main character does a great job. She might have won Best Actress. No, I'm not sure. But anyway, and also the characters that are attracted to her, not like physically or emotionally, but yeah, sure. But like in the plot, in the story, like everyone's kind of is a pretty interesting character. And even though there can arguably be like villain archetypes, everyone does have their good and bad side. Like the first scene of this movie, when it came out, I mean, when it came up, when I started watching this movie, I realized, wow, this is going to be a different movie. And I think the Academy is bald for choosing this as best film, and I'm glad they did. Um, I think it's a good push towards like seeking the truth when it comes to like art and media and movies in the US especially and in Western media, and really looking at like aspects of our society that might be easy to judge and criticize and really like humanize the people who are involved in those types of situations. Sonora is one of my favorite films. I didn't expect it, but it was just so refreshing because again, it explores parts of the country that I have a little familiarity with, barely any, but it's nice to see these stories and characters fleshed out. There is a beginning and end, plot that's pretty easy to follow. I really do like it. Next film I'm going to explore is. I hope the music's not too loud. Hang on, let me turn it down a bit. Okay. Next film is I'm Still Here. Now, this one won Best International Film at the Academy Awards. I didn't know that. I just watched it because I heard it was good, and it is. It's a really good period drama, political thriller. It explores the kidnappings and political unrest in Brazil during the 1970s, during the military coup. I'm not gonna pretend like I know my history. I don't know much about it, but the film does a good job of really, again, centering on finding his focus in this huge backdrop of like political unrest during this time in Brazil. It is based on a true story. I didn't know that because when the credits came rolling in, they referenced the characters in the film to like the actual people who existed during that time. So that's really interesting. Um, and the film does follow a family, and the family, um, they how do I say this? Not encounter, but they go through a kidnapping. One of their members of their family is kidnapped, and they have to like navigate their life. It's like having a part of you taken away, and it's never coming back. You don't know what happened to it, and it's a type of emotional fear that I don't see too much in film. I mean, I guess I do, but like from the family perspective, is kind of refreshing because films where people disappear or like kidnapping, it's usually more of a like thriller, like revenge films, but this is a more realistic, grounded approach to that type of concept, and it's done very well. The period setting is well made. Because I was born in '91, I don't know much about the '70s, but what else can I say about it? When I say it focuses on the family members, like you see how they navigate through this sort of political situation that the country is in. So it doesn't the film doesn't like follow politicians or the military people. No, it just follows the family members and how they interact with what's going on around them. So in that way, the story is easy to follow because it's a very, yeah, family focused film, which is really cool. It's really cool. I like it. I definitely recommend it. So again, these are films I like. I'm not really going to review films I don't like because it's kind of weird. Uh, anyway, so next up, Adolescence. This is a 4 episode series. Adolescence explores incel culture, and I've just sort of discovered incel culture during the past year, even though it started in the 80s. Like once I figured out what incel culture was, I dove like right into it. Like I kind of researched peer-reviewed studies about it. Because I've heard the word incel like in American pop culture, sometimes in mainstream like podcasts or discussions here and there, but this series, like the film before, I'm Still Here, focuses on the family. And the series is about a son who's 13 and he commits this atrocious crime against a woman, a young woman. I think his age as well, 13, if not a little bit older. I think I forgot, but they don't really focus so much on the victim. I mean, but they focus on the family and the friends of the victim. Well, the friends of the victim and the family of the one who committed the crime. And each of the 4 episodes are about like 45 minutes, I think, to an hour long, and they're all one shot. And each one shot, each episode, like is strategically sort of well thought out. Like each episode takes place at a time and place where um, like there are characters and events happening that are kind of crucial to like the plot of the story of this young person killing, you know, doing this horrible crime and choosing which 1 hour shots like locations to film like the reactions and the effects like this has on the community, on the family. It's so heartbreaking, um but it is refreshing to have, you know, especially in 2025, to have like a well thought out series or show or film about incel culture and taking it very seriously with very phenomenal acting. I think this show, yeah, has like probably the best acting of all the films and shows I'm going to review. I and on a personal note, I did a deep dive in incel culture because yeah, after watching this because it's a word. Wait, did I just talk about this? Yeah, because I heard about it like a few times, the word incel, but I never really explored it that much. But it's a real thing, incel culture. Like it's kind of growing. It's probably always been there, at least since the 70s and 80s. Like incels are sort of like in like young men who choose to be incelibate. And I'm not gonna lie, when I was younger, I used to think that to some extent, not like full out incel. I mean, there are all types of incels, of course, with any group, but it is nice to see them humanized and like, for me, relatable, which is not a good reflection of my personality and worldview. But you know, I'm just putting it out there. It's refreshing. You know, I definitely don't agree with incel culture, of course, but it is nice to like have these demographics like at least put on camera and with a well acted, well produced show to show people like the effect that this type of culture has on people, because it is toxic and it is bad. So I just don't want to sound like I'm promoting incel culture. Don't want to. All right, now we're gonna have a bit more fun. Rings of Power, the Amazon Lord of the Rings series. I just finished season 2. Season 2 is to me a lot better than season 1. Like the issues I had with season 1, they have been significantly improved in season 2. Like one, the sort of um, the integration of like magic in the show. This is a very like far fetched like, you know, fantasy with, you know, a lot of superstition, a lot of magic in it. The season 2 blends the magic more with the realism, and the effects are better too. Maybe they had a bigger budget this time around. I'm not sure. But it's a more consistent like tonal show compared to season 1. So I did like season 2 a lot more because season 1 definitely felt like it was setting the table, setting the stage, and season 2 is a much more like forward propelling um, plot. And like and again, like season 1 kind of felt like it was on a budget. Maybe that's not true, but to me that's how it felt like. And season 2 is just a more flawless show, not completely flawless, but compared to season 1. So I really did enjoy season 2. Um, you know, there's not really much to say about it. Because it is based on the appendices, and I just did some very brief research on how the show came to be produced. They did get permission by like Tolkien's sort of heirs, his family who are alive now. Um, they wanted to set the tone similar to like Peter Jackson's films. But this one, yeah, but it is difficult to make a series like based on appendices and a story that spans so many years, But the fact that they're ambitious enough to do that, I mean, the showrunners of the show, and do it like pretty well. Like, there's good acting, there's good camera work, and the music is great. You know, like, there are a lot of people who don't like this show for mainly like political reasons, which I don't really want to listen to too much, because just the fact that, like, if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, which I kind of am, like, this is like, we're just getting so much like unnecessary like luxury with this. You know, it's almost too much. Like, it's really nice to have. You know, I'm really grateful that they did it. And yeah, apparently, so there's gonna be maybe like 3 more seasons, as far as I know, because I haven't even read the appendices. I don't even really know where the show is going. I'm not like the biggest Tolkien lore, you know, knowledgeable person, but it's just like a fun show. You know, if you're into it, it's great. I really like it. And finally, we got Mickey17. Now, this one came out, I think, beginning of this year or the end of last year. I think the beginning of this year, maybe. This was a more streamlined film than I thought it was going to be, and that's for its benefit. Like, I thought it would be a more complicated story than it actually was, so it's great that it did focus on like a certain event. Because, like, when I watched the trailer, I thought it was going to be a lot more complicated and convoluted, but no, it's a great, like, simple sort of show. And if you know the director, he does like to make films with that are a reflection of sort of the injustices in our socio-economic political systems. Um, and for the most part, I do like a lot of his films. I think he is my favorite Korean director, and Mickey 17 is another great film. And even though the sort of social commentary is a bit more like in your face, more obvious, but it's done with such comedy. It's done with such like integration in the story, and maybe we know people who act like the sort of like, not the villains, but like the people in this movie who are just so ignorant and just so selfish. Like, it's almost comical. Like, this is more of a comedy than I thought it was gonna be. And the sci-fi element just makes it also just that much more bizarre of a film. And the sci-fi elements are handled very well. And because they do integrate like very relatable human like emotions and intentions, motivations, and actions with the sci-fi elements. So it is a more seamless, consistent, and streamlined film than I thought it was gonna be. So it's great. Yeah, that's Mickey 17. It does star Robert Pattinson, who's just been in a lot of interesting stuff since his Twilight days. He's a pretty versatile actor, and this one's like, no different. So yeah. Um, that's it. There are a couple other stuff I've watched, but I don't really feel like talking about them because they're like a little bit too bizarre. Because I do watch a lot of mainstream stuff, but also a lot of like weird films, which maybe when I'm a bit more confident to talk about them, I might bring them up in a future video. Alright, so we're ending this video with Red One Jimmy Joker's remix of More by Usher. And until then, take it easy, y'all. Peace.